Welcome again to another lecture. So we are going to continue working where we left. So far we've managed to create routes for the contact and for the block. So in the block we pass in two parameters and we return it. But this is not the way we are going to do it. For the reason why I'm saying this is mostly here you're gonna see we're gonna change this. Instead of having a function will close this part, we can just make it to be more, I'm not gonna say more dynamic, but it's gonna be more elegant, and we're gonna use controllers. So in our application, the controllers, remember, are in app, HTTP, and controllers. So here inside we have this controller which we can copy it and create it, but I don't need all of this part. See, namespace app HTTP controllers, and this controller extends base controller. So for that reason, I'm just gonna open CMD, CD, XAMPP, HD docs, and intro. So I'm inside intro, right? I'm inside my directory of where the project is located. So if you open XAMPP, just to make it clear, I have that folder here. I'm here actually, inside. So I'm just gonna close this part. And let's zoom in a little bit. Now, what we can do here is that we can just PHP artisan. And we will see the list of all our commands that are available, right? Now the thing is that we still haven't done this part, clear, cache, config, and stuff like that. So we just only started using serve. I think somewhere was here. No idea where serve is. So PHP artisan serve will make it, here it is. We'll serve the application. It will create, you don't need to use XAMPP for that, but we're not gonna do it because every change, sometimes you need to restart it. That's why I prefer using XAMPP. So make sure that this is working, otherwise you will not be able to see, you will not be able to see this intro.com, right? This is Laravel. So this, make sure it's working. So now let's continue working on our project, and what we will do, we will create, see here we have make commands. So remember we can create manually, but we can create through PHP artisan. So how are we gonna do this? So let's create PHP artisan, let's create make controller, and here the name of the controller. So I do have here pages folder, right? So just wait, I just need to close a couple of things in order you to see it. So I'm in the resources, views, so I have a pages here. I have block and contact inside in the views. So let's create a pages controller. So this pages controller, the most used, so according to Laravel, it's the best way to use Pascal case. So pages, first capital, and after that also capital, start with capital C, controller. Now you can put this one plural here and the other one, but you can also call it page controller, but it's mostly like to create pages controller because I'm going to show you. After that, for example, if it's users controller, let's say users controller here, after that you will probably gonna have in app, you will have user.php, that will be the model. So you don't want the user controller and user.php, right? The model. So that's why it's up to you, but you can create pages controller. Now there are two ways. If I just hit it like this, the controller created successfully. So if I go back, so I'm just gonna close everything in order to see. Just gonna do this. I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit now, like that. Now here we have the pages controller. It brings this namespace app HTTP controllers, right? App HTTP controllers, and you use the request library. We're gonna use that for library, for example, when we are saving something in the database, when we need the ID, and we can get that from there. That's why that request library is there. Don't worry, we haven't done anything with this one. We will do it in the future. So pages controller, and that extends the basic control. So that's why I say it's not a good idea to copy this one, because this actually our pages controller extends the controller here, and this controller extends base controller. So if you want to see all the methods inside, so you can hold control, and if you hold control or command, probably command, so you need to click it on it and it will go here, right? So that's how you can navigate. If you want to go one more step further, you can go that. You can use stuff like that. So this is how you can navigate through your classes. All right. Now I'm just gonna go back, and here it's opened up here, middleware name resolver. So it goes into Laravel, and that is in the vendor folder, right? So that's how I jumped there. Otherwise, it's very hard to navigate. So that's, you know now how to navigate. Actually, you hold the control in Windows or command in Mac, and you click that, so it goes there. But let's deal with this. Now, I told you there are a couple of ways we can do this. Now here, this pages control doesn't have any methods. Inside we need to have methods, and at the moment it's empty. Doesn't mean that it's bad, because we can create our own methods, but it's also, so let me just show you. I'm just gonna delete this one real quick, and I'm just gonna go up an arrow key, and I'm gonna say -R, means with resources. Create me pages controller with resources. So now the controller is again created, and here it is. Now we have all of the functions: create, index, store, show, edit. This is how we can get the request. We can use the request here. Doesn't matter. Here it is. Update, request, and ID. Now, we're not going to touch this at the moment, but we will do it later. So, at the moment, our application is a little bit boring. We have the contact, and now how we can now change this route. Let me open the web.php. How we can change, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna comment this part, and I'm just gonna comment this part, but I'm gonna copy it first, and I'm gonna put it here. So contact, I'm not gonna return, I'm just gonna, actually I didn't have to copy it, right? Because I had the same one, but it doesn't matter. So now I have the contact function, view pages, and that is going to contact. Let's just check. Now everything is working. So here, what we can do, we can change this one in order to be a little bit, because we now have a pages controller that will control our pages here. Let me just close. In resources, views, we have the pages, right? So we have block actually inside and contact. Let's create another one. Let's call about.blade.php. Let's create another one. For example, contact about policies. Let's create a policies. This you can create here any pages you want. This is just for showing you how we can do things. Another file is, for example, employment or quick links. Employment.blade.php. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this part here, and I'm just going to put it in employment and saying this is employment page. Now copy the same one. Contact already have. About block, we're not going to use block for now, maybe we're going to delete it, but about page. Now I'm just going to close everything that I don't need for the moment. So now when I want to go to the contact, I already have linked that with contact, right? But we can do that through the controller. So how are we going to do this? Instead of having this one like function closure, what we can do, we can say comma here, and we can link which controller we want to go. So here is on top, it's pages controller. So it's a good idea just you to copy this one, because you don't want to make a mistake. And here inside at, and you put the name of the method. That's why I created with methods, so you can go here into and look for the method. So contact usually gonna have, let's create another one. So this is for contact page, and I'm just gonna put it here. It's gonna give me an error because they're same. So I'm gonna rename to the contact method, and what here I'm gonna do is I'm just going to return the view. So what we do have view pages.contact. Actually, what I'm doing here is I'm doing this part before. That's why I copy it. So I'm returning the same thing, but through this one. And here we need to specify contact. So again, this will be the URL, right? The route, but it will look in the pages controller and it will search for the contact method. In that contact method is just returning the view. So if I do it right now, it should not have any problems, right? Because we didn't change anything, we just link it. Now, but if I go to about, let's just see about, there's a 404 node found, right? So I'm just gonna copy this part here. Let's make it more nicer. Too much space, right? Too much space. So this is will be about in pages about. Remember, we have that view about here, and this is about page. Now everything now it should work, but it should work, but we have to also specify the route, because we have only the route for contact, we don't have the about. Right now I do specify about, so pages controller, and you need to look into about method. So this is the about page, so this is coming from, it's rendering this part, this H1. So what I tell him, go /about, go to the pages controller, find the about method. So in the pages controller, find the about method, and the about method is returning the view located in the pages folder about, right? This is what we're doing. Located in the pages folder about. If there is no, for example, if there is no, if there was no folder, you're just gonna link straight to about, right? Now let's copy this one. We have a couple of things to do. We have policies, and I think it was policies of blade. We're just gonna make it that way. And employment, the last one was employment. So you don't have to make it like this. You can have a different pages. This is just for showing you. This is not the actual application that we are going to build. So we have pages employment. So we have the method employment, we have method policies, but now we need to link those two. So I'm just going to copy these two, just going to put it here. So I just want to go /policy or policies, and I need to look for this one, right? For this method. Very good. And employment, if I can type it right. So employment and /employment, right? Let's see what's happening now. So if I go to, so policies, actually in policies, do we have something? Because it's returning something, but we don't have nothing here. So we can copy this one from the about, and we can put it inside policies, and we can say this is policies page, and save it. Let's see employment. We have employment, right? Now if I refresh, this is a policy page and employment. Now everything is working. So that was how we can change from function. Instead of returning the view here, we can go to a specific method inside our controllers. So in our controllers we can have different methods. For example, remember that we were passing here this ID. We will do that with the controller in the next lecture. So we can do the same thing as here, just make it a little bit cleaner. We can group this because they belong to this pages controller, right? So we have contact, about, policies, and employment. So we can group them. So we will learn how to do that later. So we can group them, we can give them names, we can apply middleware, we can apply authentication. For example, sometimes you don't want this page to be visible only to be visible to the people or users that are logged in, authenticated. That's we're gonna do in the next lecture. So stay with me. I hope you like this one. So far we managed to do views. So you now know how to create views. We managed to do pass in parameters in the URL and how to get them, return them. Now we just, in this lecture, we manage how to do pages controller with PHP Artisan. So PHP Artisan, make controller, pages controller, it will create empty controller, and the second one will create this one. But before, remember, we delete this one. That's why you will be. So now if I do it again, it already exists, and here controller already exists. You can't do it, right? So that's pretty much it for this lecture, and I will see you in the next one.